Now, I don't want to draw comparisons to former President Trump in terms of behavior necessarily, but as the enthusiasm, and we've seen sort of the GOP turn against Trump, as other candidates have emerged. Have there been any consequences? Because Herschel Walker certainly will win the award for most entertaining, potentially most disturbing, but certainly, to remind people, we've had some, incredible gaffes along the way that, in another time, another era might have perhaps, ruled out your political career. What are we seeing here? Like, I'm just curious sort of what impact his actual personality, behavior, and what he's said on the campaign trail has had, if any, from what you can detect.
Well, you do wonder if, some of the shock value of some revelations are lessened these days, just because, Donald Trump was in headlines with so much controversy for so long. And so perhaps scandals today don't seem as big as they once did. Interestingly, Herschel Walker, he's had accusations and reports that he paid for and encouraged women to get abortions, that he had impregnated. And, he claims to be pro-life. So, you've got the question of whether, he's being hypocritical. Some of the groups that are major, pro-life groups have continued to donate to Herschel Walker even after those revelations came out. And certainly, if you look at it from just a, pragmatic, political, maybe cynical perspective, I mean, you don't really care what the person truly believes in their heart. You might just care what they're going to vote for. And, if you're somebody who believes in the principles of, the Republican Party, and particularly if you take this especially controversial issue of abortion, Herschel Walker probably would be likely to vote for a pro-life Supreme Court justice, for instance, at least more so than Raphael Warnock would. So I think that voters are, probably just at this point picking their teams. Do they want the Democrats to have 51 people, or do they want them to have 50? And ultimately, that's what's going to come out of this election, is that one last vote.
So December 6th happens. We'll obviously, find the outcome, and I'm sure you'll be there first. But will it matter? I mean, it seems like we're now in a position to be set up for 2 years of some level of gridlock. I suppose you could go through that. But what sort of reaction are we seeing? Anything in terms of money flows or just rhetoric around what's being anticipated for 2023? I don't know if the outcome of this race matters in any way in the minds of those who, frankly, have invested heavily in it.
Yeah, I mean, it does still matter. And one of the biggest reasons that it matters is, if you have a 50-50 Senate, then the committees are going to be split evenly. And you can't issue a subpoena on a party line vote if you have a split 50-50 committee. So if you have a committee that has one more person on it, then suddenly if all of the Democrats agree to one thing, then you can issue a subpoena. And these subpoenas are powerful. The House Democrats have wielded them, effectively to expose Donald Trump and his finances for the last 4 years. So those things do matter. In addition, every time that you see a large piece of legislation come up, it all comes down to, it seems like, just a couple of people. How many times have we read about Joe Manchin or Kirsten Sinema, even Lisa Murkowski, a Republican from Alaska, holding, deciding votes, or people are just really focused on what they do on a particular piece of legislation. If you have one more vote on the Democrats' side, then suddenly that becomes a lot easier for the Democrats to push things through, at least through the Senate. Now, they're still going to face the challenge of dealing with a Republican-controlled House. So it's not going to get easier in all respects, but it will be smoother in the Senate if they're able to win that seat.
Great. More to watch, and we'll check in next week. Thanks very much, Dan.
Thank you.